Now let's turn to Stephanie Rawlings Blake, the hot mayor of Baltimore. And she's upset with the media because she is claiming that the media has maliciously and totally misquoted her and twisted the meaning of her words at a press conference yesterday. Listen to yourself. I'll give you the whole thing to see how maliciously they misquoted her.
And instructed them to do everything that they could to make sure that the protesters were able to exercise their right to free speech. It's a very delicate balancing act, because while we tried to make sure that they were protected from the cars and the other things that were going on, we also gave those who wished to destroy space to do that as well. And we worked very hard to keep that balance and to put ourselves in the best position to de-escalate. And
now, is there any ambiguity there? Did you have a hard time understanding what Stephanie Rawlings Blake said? It sounded a lot to me like she said that the police were instructed to give protesters who were out there to destroy what? Property? The space to do that, if that's what they wanted to do. Maybe we could listen again and see if that's really what she said.
We also gave those who wished to destroy space to do that as well.
Dang. It really sounds like she said that we gave those who wished to destroy space to do that. Okay, now let's turn you magically into a mindless young thug in the streets of Baltimore. And you want to impress your homies. You want to impress your gang members, the Crips or the Bloods or the Hoo-Ha Gorilla Gang or whatever the name of that thing is. You want to impress everybody, and the mayor has just said that if you want to destroy, you are going to have the space to do that. So what happens? When school gets out this afternoon, these thugs are out there destroying, doing exactly what the mayor of that city said that she was going to make room for them to do. And then she has a press conference last night, this night, whenever you happen to be listening to this, saying that it's all the media's fault. Yes, she blamed it all on the media because they took her words out of context. You heard it. They weren't taken out of context. I can't think of anything else she might have been trying to say. Can you? Can you think of anything else?
We also gave those who wished to destroy space to do that as well.
Destroy. Was she trying to say we also gave those who wished to distribute Avon products the chance to do that as well? Don't think so. Her meaning was clear. Baltimore, you have a problem. And one of your biggest problems is this mindless twit, Stephanie Rawlings Blake, your mayor. And now let's talk about the rioters themselves. Very few of these people, these kids, were protesters. They were rioters. What happened to Frankie Gray was not the reason for their rioting. It was their excuse. In Baltimore and in urban areas like Baltimore around this country, there is a culture of predatory violence that exists in the black inner city core of these cities. It is there, it is festering, and it is just waiting for the slightest excuse, not reason, the slightest excuse to erupt. It is in the music. It is in the gang signs. It is part of the daily interaction of these inner city thugs with each other. Now, I'm not going to pull out the folder that has all the black crime statistics. You know as well as I do what that folder, what those documents will tell us. The vast majority of violent crime in this country is perpetrated is caused by young black males. If we could take young black males, young blacks, from the age of about 18 to 26 and put them in some sort of suspended animation or on another planet and bring them back when they're 26 years old, 80% of the violent crime in this country would be gone because they are the ones causing it. And what percentage of our population are they? Between 3 and 4%. When you have the vast majority of the murders, the gang-banging, the robberies, when you have the vast majority of these being caused by 4% of the population, you have a serious problem that needs to be addressed, but nobody wants to deal with it because that would be racist. So we make excuses and give them spaces to destroy if that's what they want. And I'll tell you another thing. Since Barack Obama, and look, I was on the air from 1969 or 70 all the way to 2013. That's a pretty long stretch. I was doing talk radio in Atlanta on the day that Martin Luther King Jr. was killed. I was there when his funeral shut down the inner city. I have known a lot of these civil rights leaders. A lot of them became friends. God, how I miss Hosea Williams, for instance. A lot of them didn't like me at all. I can remember Julian Bond and I. We used to travel around to venues in the city, and we would argue affirmative action. We had a great time in front of audiences, usually all black audiences, arguing the concept of affirmative action. But I can tell you from that experience that race relations in this country right now are worse than they were at any time that I was doing talk radio, except possibly for the months following the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. They are the worst right now. And I blame Barack Obama and Eric Holder. Barack Obama, his first interaction with police after he became president of the United States was that situation up in, I think, New Haven, Connecticut, where the police arrested some guy trying to get in. He was black, trying to get into the front door of a house. He didn't have a key. So I don't remember if they took him in custody or not. But the police up there knew something for an absolute certainty. They knew the statistics. And they knew that most home burglaries and break-ins were committed by black men. And here was a black man breaking into a home. It took further investigation and convincing for them to realize it was actually his home. Here comes Barack Obama, and he said the police acted stupidly. I mean, the very first year of his junta in Washington, and he's talking about blaming the police. The police acted stupidly. And he has been on that tirade ever since, as has his wholly criminal Attorney General, Eric Holder. And race relations in this country, for a big part, have gone straight into the crapper. You want to see some of the things on social media. It really just makes you want to put away the computer and the iPad and the iPhone and cancel your account with Twitter and the rest of it. I mean, some of the things that I saw over the last couple of days, like this. Why do white folks have a negative birth rate? Y'all are dying off faster than you can be born. Duh, maybe one of the reasons is that white folks are more likely to make sure that they can afford a child before they have one. I don't know. Here's another one. If you can get cancer from being in the sun, that's God's way of correcting his mistake. That's the kind of vitriol you get on social media. I'm telling you, there is a building intense hatred from many in the black community toward whites. And again, this came with Barack Obama. I think that part of it might be this. Barack Obama has clearly been a failure. He is just an absolutely atrocious President of the United States. There is not one single foreign leader that has an ounce of respect for Barack Obama. They all consider him to be a complete clown, an incompetent fool. And a lot of Americans realize that as well. And since whites are the majority in this country, perhaps a lot of whites, maybe the majority of whites, see this guy's incompetence. And this angers blacks because they theorize that it's just all about racism. These racist white crackers don't like the president because he is black. That means they don't like us because we are black, and we are going to retaliate with an equal amount of hatred and derision aimed toward them. It's a horrible tragedy, folks, in Baltimore right now while I'm recording this. And what is the time? 9:06 in the evening. Right now, there are tens of thousands of black men and women and children and grandparents that are trapped in their homes, afraid to come out because of the lawlessness, the looting, the burning, and the rioting. There are people in their homes right now that are afraid to go to bed tonight because they are concerned that young black men may burn down their row house overnight. There are men and women in Baltimore, black men and women, who are going to bed tonight not knowing if they're going to have a job tomorrow, not knowing if they're going to have a place to go to work, not knowing if there are going to be any more paychecks, because the place where they work, the place where they earn money to support their families, to raise their children, might be burning down at the hands of these young black thugs tonight in Baltimore. And there are black women in Baltimore, in some very rare cases, black mothers and fathers, but there are black mothers in Baltimore this evening who do not know where their son is. They suspect he may have gotten caught up in all of the excitement of the rioting and the burning and the looting, and he may be out there in the middle of it, and they don't know if he is going to come home alive later tonight or tomorrow morning, or be killed in the rioting, either by another young black man or by the police officers. Horrible, horrible tragedy. And by the way, Stephanie Rawlings Blake, mayor of Baltimore, this probably could have been avoided if you had had the sense to see what a tragedy it was that Frankie Gray came out of that police van nearly dead a week ago, or whenever it happened. And if you had made it clear to the community that these police officers were going to be held accountable, if you had immediately appointed a special prosecutor to look into this, taken the investigation out of the hands of the police department and said, we're going to find out what happened, and heads are going to roll, and they are going to roll a long way. If you had done that, there'd be a lot of people going to work tomorrow or today that aren't going to work. A lot of people in homes that haven't burned down. A lot of people with businesses that haven't been looted. But you sat on your ass and then made this asinine statement about giving these rioters the space they needed to destroy. An amazing, incredible example of black leadership. Okay, I'm going to go drink a bottle of NyQuil.